Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. First of all, sorry for the 10 minutes delay. I think there's a very interesting thing that happened in the process, which is again about entrepreneurship. You're not, when you don't know what is going to happen next. So, I've been very excited about this session that was going to happen. And I tried to join and I see that there are more than 100 participants and I'm not allowed inside. So this is what happens with all us entrepreneurs. And then I got selected that, okay, you are now in, but then I had to choose I had to make sure that I'm not a robot. So I had to choose the picture of the tractors, the 6 tractors, and then you get allowed to confirm that you're not a bot. So entrepreneurship is all about this. I mean, this is something very impromptu that happened. I thought I'll share that you don't know what's going to happen next, right? So, so welcome everybody. My name is Milapsinh Jadeja, and I've been an entrepreneur. You can call me a serial entrepreneur. And there's always an issue that what's the definition of an entrepreneur? I don't know what you guys expect today out of this the session that's going to be. So I'm not going to make it a very professional kind of session. Like what is entrepreneurship and how it is defined, and what are the traits and what should we do to become an entrepreneur. No, I think we're going to keep it a very candid session, and we are going to keep a question answer session open while we are discussing, so that I think most of you can kind of receive what you have been expecting from this session. I'm very bad at PowerPoints, but I have tried to collect and consolidate some data that I could, so that I don't forget while we discuss this. Any specific expectations you guys have from this session? If they are, I think you can just quickly put it on the window if you're allowed, so that I would know that this is what you guys are expecting, and so I don't kind of forget taking those points over. Otherwise, of course, I'll have my own presentation coming up, and we'll discuss as and when it happens. So there's no preparation, there's no subject thing that I've worked upon, and I'm just going to take the session as and when it happens along with you guys. So any questions, any specific questions, I think you can put on the chat window. Very good morning, Ajinkya. So I think he's already wished there, but I would love to have any thoughts, anything that you would want to have from this session in quick 1 minute that we have. You can quickly put on that this is what you expect. So I'll try to cover that. Okay, so I believe that everybody comes with zero expectations. I think that's the best state of mind that an entrepreneur should have. That I have no expectations. Yeah, there is somebody who has some expectation. How does the whole process of making a startup works? Okay, I'll take that. Making of a startup. I think that is from Kaustup. Right? So I'll take that during while we discuss. I think we have 15, 20 seconds more to go. So anybody, any other question that you have, you can always put it while we discuss. But if there is anything specific that you are expecting from this session, then maybe it'll be easier for me to kind of collect. I'm audible, right? It's here. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll start sharing my screen. There's one more coming. How to make a road map for a startup. Right? So how I'll differentiate that also. I think that's the similar question as Kaustubh asked for a start. These discussions and these sharing sessions and asking sessions is like the fear on the stage, and like the karaoke that we do at times when we don't want to hold the mic first, and then when somebody starts picking up, then we want acha mara varo, maro varo, I want the mic and I want to sing. So that's how it happens. Okay, guys, so I'll share the screen. uh, for us to start. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good. So, entrepreneurship, I believe that entrepreneurship is a journey, right? We all have seen Finding Nemo. We have seen so many movies where, they don't know what's going to happen and how does Nemo survive. So entrepreneurship is all about that at the end of the day. So here is a great picture. So I mean, this is one of my favorite pictures. One of my favorite hobbies and passion has been photography. So this picture comes from 2015, which I had clicked on a Nokia phone at that time at the Blind Men's Association. And I'd started my photography at that time and I was very passionate. Let me participate with contests. And so there was this contest run by a club called Bangalore Shutterbacks. So it was an online platform. And then, we kind of participated. So every week we were given a subject that so for example, orange. Then we all would participate on our perception about orange. Right? Orange can be a color, orange can be a fruit, orange can be color of our saffron, the color for a flag, whatsoever. Orange can be Ganeshji laddus, right? That's the in thing right now. So it could be anything. So the subject was light at that time, and this is what I clicked, right? So it was a complete paradox of light that I clicked somebody who was blind, who can never actually perceive light. So, and among, I think, 100 participants, I got the second number at that time for this picture, which was clicked on the phone. So there was no technique. I had never had the camera. I clicked this on the mobile phone. It was a pixelated picture, and there was nothing about light. Right? So this is what happens with life. This is what happens with business. This is what happens with entrepreneurship. This is what happens with startups. And we think about something, and then we start working on it. And what happens is completely different when we, kind of get into the processes and the systems, and we realize that અરે મેં તો આ વિચાર્યું હતું, આવું તો નતું વિચાર્યું, પણ આવું થઈ ગયું, હવે શું કરવાનું? So why I took this picture was that you do not know what life is going to bring you forward, right? So that's what entrepreneurship is all about, that you don't know what's going to come next. Nobody knew how COVID is going to play into our lives. It disrupted the complete industry. People who had the running businesses, people who were startups, students, professors, people who were well settled, and they never saw anything like this, that what's going to happen if COVID comes in and it disrupts the whole world. How will we prepare ourselves at that time, right? So that's what entrepreneurship again is all about, to be ready for the unknown, to be ready for any form of disruption. How grateful you are, how relentless you are as an entrepreneur, as an individual, that also counts, right? So here is a fantastic advertisement. This is the top 100 advertisements of the world. That's what you say. This is from 1907, from some newspaper in the US, and the guy's name was Sir Ernest Shackleton. So Sir Ernest Shackleton was, he wanted to do a journey on the Arctic at that time, and that's when he came up with this advertisement, and he said men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in the event of success. Ernest Shackleton. Right? So this was the advertisement he gave at that time in 19
sir, you are not audible. Sorry for the inconvenience. I think sir's net has some issue.
Okay, so I'm back. PDPU वाला स्टेशन गमतू नत लागतो वारे वारे मन काटी मुकेत बार.
असं तुम्हाला नेट चा काही इश्यू होता.
All right, all right. No, my net is completely okay. Anyway, so I'll share the screen again where I kind of stopped. Right, just a second. So I've lost all the questions regarding the mindset. Amit, I'll take it up. Just a moment. I'll once again share my screen. Okay. So where did I'll start again. So I think this was the advertisement. I was audible till this time, right? Samaj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So it's about the journey that who would want to go on this journey. So this is how I define entrepreneurship, that it is a hazardous journey, right? You know, you're not sure you're going to get a wage.
No, sir is not audible. Sir, I think has left the meeting again. He'll be rejoining in few minutes.
Do not tell you about entrepreneurship. I'm sure all of us, all of us actually, kind of read about entrepreneurship here and there, and that's where we learn what is entrepreneurship, who is an entrepreneur. Then we see good examples about Elon Musk being a great entrepreneur, but what do they don't tell you, right? So I think that is what I exactly mentioned in the previous slide, that they don't say that it's an hazardous journey. You may get paid, you may not get paid, right? And not necessary that you will be successful at that point of time. So that's how probably things work for entrepreneurs, and we aren't prepared for the same. Have you received the presentation, Anisha? You should have.
Yes, sir. Just received it. Yes.
Yeah. So can you just, I think,
Yes, I'll just share it in 2 minutes.
sure. So I think most of the questions that I got through from Kaustubh and a couple of others, it's all about startups. How does the roadmap for a startup work? Or, what's the way to choose the right form of business? What's the roadmap for that? How do you take things forward when you have an idea? I think these are most common questions we all as entrepreneurs feel. Have you shared, Anisha, or I'm the screen?
And no,
Yes,
sir,
yes. Yeah.
we
Just
will
a
share
minute.
in just a minute.
All right.
We're just
All right.
starting this. Start.
Not a problem. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, or when we talk about a startup, it all starts with a dream somewhere or the other. When we are children or when we are studying, we kind of get fascinated by successful people. That wow, Elon Musk is so successful, Steve Jobs is so successful, or Arun, Mr. Wariku is Ankur Wariku is so successful, or the Bansals who started Flipkart, or Vijay Shekhar Sharma. We are fascinated by these names, and wow, these are so successful people in their lifetime. Why are they successful? What has been their entrepreneurial journey? What builds an entrepreneur? What makes an entrepreneur? We all want to become Sachin Tendulkar, but do we really want to go through the path of practicing 12, 16 hours a day in whatever time that we have, right? So up, up, up. So let's go on the fifth slide. Uh, Fifth one. Yeah. All right, here. So it all starts with something like, dream. That I dream of being an entrepreneur. I dream of being so and so person. Now, it's also important to know that is that a dream, or is that an ambition, or is that a wishful thinking somewhere, right? So, to look at all these, or to differentiate all three of them, that what's the difference between a dream and an ambition? What's the difference between ambition and wishful thinking, right? We need to ask, what is our why? So there's a great book. I've recommended a few books at the end of this slide. So in this session, which will, kind of help you guys understand what kind of information we should be feeding ourselves with, what kind of books should we read, which kind of inspire us, or maybe help us raise questions. So it's very important to know what is your why. What is your why on what you do, why you do, when you do. તમે જે કરો છો એ શેના માટે કરો છો? Why are you here today? Right? Do you know your why? Are you going to get grades out of this? Or are you going to learn something out of this? Are you going to get your, grades in terms of the presence that you filled up over here? Or are you here really to understand and know that what is my why? Right? So what is your why? So if I think about starting a startup related to retail, why I really want to do that? What is pulling me to there? Why am I not doing something else? Why am I not starting a showroom? Why am I not starting something in terms of education? Why am I not doing something in terms of any other form of business? Why? Right. So what is your why? I think that's the biggest question we should keep on asking us in whatever we do in our life. And the question that a few of them ask, that what is the roadmap to a startup? Ask yourself your why. Why do I want to start this startup? Why do I not want to uh, work somewhere for somebody? Why I do not want to do a job in the field that I specialize? Why do I not want to become a farmer that my father is doing? Or why I do not want to join my father's business? So why do I want to do what I am looking forward to doing? I think it's a very important question, and most of you should ask that question before you start anything. Do you want to become famous, or are you kind of fascinated by some success stories that you see around you, and you want to become like them and have a lot of appreciation? Is that something like that? So ask your why. I think that's the very important point, right? And there's this book called What is Your Why by Simon Sinek, and you will receive a lot of questions. And once you go through the book, I think you'll get a lot of questions to ask to yourself, and maybe that will define your next step forward. Or do I really want to do a startup? સ્ટાર્ટઅપમાં પ્રોબ્લેમ થશે, પૈસા નહીં ભેગા થાય, સાંભળવું પડશે, દોડવું પડશે, 18 કલાક કામ કરવું પડશે, ઊંઘ નહીં થાય. Am I going to be capable of doing all those things? Am I ready for that? All those questions will be asked in What's Your Why. So then there is this another book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. So grit is all about what defines you and how you are different than others. Being talented and having grit are two different things. One is extremely talented but may not have the grit. But one may have the grit, may not be talented. They may take a lot of time to go ahead, but grit is what keeps you going. That is what differentiates you from others. uh, I don't know if I did this session with you guys, but there's one session where I discussed about what is grit all about. And grit is what they teach you in the US. There's this university. I don't know, it's a university or it's a setup. It's called uh, the West Coast, where there is a training session that's being taken for people who are going to work at top level for the US government. So where it's about knowledge, it's about the physical fitness, it's about the mental fitness. So they have a set. They have an entrance examination like we have in G, or we have your the kind of examinations you have for engineering, that you have to have so much amount of grades to go to the next level. But what happens is that there are more than 20-30,000 applications being done, and 10,000 of them are straight away filtered by the grades that they have achieved. Another 5,000 and more, 50% are filtered by the 30-day program that they have. So they have a program where they measure that are you really capable of doing what you kind of are trying to showcase in your resume. So there's a physical exercise, there's a mental exercise, and 80% of the people drop out in the first 3 days, right? And then what remains is the selection from the 50,000, hardly 1,000, 1,500 are selected for the whole program. Right? So that's a very, it's a different way of measuring people that, the government puts in a lot of money, lots of effort, lots of energy to bring in the best entrepreneurs and the best soldiers out of there. But are they really worth it, right? So that is where grit comes into picture. Come what may, I will make it happen. That's what grit is all about. Relentless is a kind of synonym for grit. I'll keep on going. You need to be flexible. So these are some characteristics or some traits I'm talking about entrepreneurs. That flexible, that in disruption, the food industry completely got disrupted. Restaurants shut down, cafes shut down. What did people do? A lot of restaurants shut down, a lot of hotels shut down, right? But there were few gritty people, there were few relentless people, and who kind of pivoted, who kind of were flexible that, okay, if my customer can't come to me, I will go to the customer. Let me start a cloud kitchen. Let me do the delivery business. So that's how they kind of pivoted. So a lot of people started thinking in a different way, that people did not have enough money. So they cut down the cost. Work from home happened. Zoom calls happened. Who was thinking last year or maybe 2 years down the line that we would be doing these kind of more and more webinars? Even though we are local people, would we really be doing webinars? All the conservative people thought that webinar, ab to na chale. Internet is a short-term thing. You have to be physically present doing these kind of sessions. But that's not how it is. Things have changed. So people have been flexible. We've adapted to these kind of technology, and that's where we are. So entrepreneur again is all about the flexibility, pivoting, being ready for any form of disruption that's going to come into the process, being very relentless that, okay, once I've decided, this is what I'm going to do about it. So that's about the few characteristics, right? Can we go to the next slide? Does anybody have any question here? I think, do you want to ask any question here? Any specific thoughts on what we are discussing? Uh, don't worry about the time. 12:30 was the time, but I think we lost 15 minutes here and there. So I'm okay to be here as long as you guys want to be. So this is, what is the common trait among entrepreneurs? This is just link which I'd come up, which talks about very successful entrepreneurs worldwide, which includes Walt Disney, which includes so many other people who were dyslexic. They were left-handed, they were college dropouts, and they were all dyslexic. So in their school days, in their childhood days, people and the friends said that these guys would do nothing. So I think this PPT will be shared. So if you can, open up this link, I think it'll be great. We'll quickly go through the list of entrepreneurs. If you can straight away, or you can copy paste this link. Yeah, right. So Henry Ford, right? He was a dyslexic patient. Uh, yeah, okay. Charles Schwab, Richard Branson. We all know Richard Branson, who's the owner of Virgin Atlantic, the guy who went into space recently, right? He's after, along with Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, he's the third guy who is wanting to go there. He wasn't dyslexic. So we know all about Virgin Airlines, about Virgin Records, and there's this great book by Richard Branson. It's his autobiography. It's called Losing My Virginity. How Richard Branson became what he is. Kyo Gando Manas Hato, Jabardast. David Murdoch. So he's the owner of Dole Foods, which is one of the largest fruit companies in the world today. William Hewlett, that's Hewlett Packard, right? Steve Jobs was dyslexic, right? Wrigley's, we all have had Wrigley's chewing gum in our old days. Steven Spielberg, who doesn't know about DreamWorks? Who doesn't know about Jurassic Park? Who doesn't know about Jaws? So many phenomenal films. Ted Turner, one of the top, richest persons in the world, Turner Broadcasting Studios. Tommy Hilfiger into clothing. So these are all the people. Walt Disney, here he is, right? Who thought about Disney World coming out of a place where there were like thousands and millions of crocodiles in that place? He came up with the most beautiful place in the world, right? Cisco Systems, IBM. You look at all these. Vince McMahon, we all know the WWF owner, right? So these are all the great people. General Electric, Thomas Edison. So these are some great people who were dyslexic, but who were very gritty, who really wanted things to happen in a very different way. So if we talk about entrepreneurship, if we talk about startups, there is no absolute answer. There is no absolute answer when you say, who is an entrepreneur? How do you measure he's an entrepreneur or not? How do you measure his success? How do you measure failure? All these are very temporary, very, very temporary words. I think you can just put the cross there somewhat. We can go back to our slides. So these are who were very simple, dyslexic people who dropped out of their colleges, but still are some phenomenal names. So not necessary that you have to be a topper in your class to, become somebody. Let's go to the next slide. So not necessary that you need to, have the top grades and A plus in all the grades and all the classes to become an entrepreneur. It's about how different you are. What are the characteristics that you have? So I think when I had to present this, I was just going through these TED Talks on entrepreneurship on YouTube, and I think you can check on that where Ankur Waniku said. So Ankur Waniku he was the founder and the CEO of Nearby, right? So what does he say about entrepreneurship? He says that spend time people who are unlike you, right? That's where you're going to learn things that are different. That's where you're going to learn things that you not seen, you not expected. If you go to the same people, uh, yeah, there is a set of friends that you have. There are people with whom you are kind of comfortable with, which is fine. But if you want to learn more, what's your quest? What is your why? Again, right? You want more and more information from people uh, who are not from your group or your network or your circuit, and that's where you kind of find something that's going to be totally new. So spend time with people unlike you. If you are doing your specialization in uh, chemical engineering, why don't you go to people who are on to the accounting side and see how they are kind of doing their work? Maybe you're going to learn something new. So it's about the newness, it's about the curiosity, it's about the child within you. Always remember, the day you stop asking questions as a child, you are gone, you are lost. There is no new information that's going to come to you. And so that's why I really wanted my chat box to be full, that please do not be afraid to ask any questions. Please do not be afraid to be validated, right? Why do you worry? What if I ask this question, my friends are going to say, "Arey, atla stupid question pucho." It's okay. If you don't ask questions, who's going to know? How am I going to know what are you guys here for? Right? You need to ask any stupid damn questions, is absolutely okay. Ask more and more questions, and that's when you learn more and more. That's how you need to look at life, right? So spend time with people unlike you. Then it is, don't be entitled. What does this mean? Don't be entitled as in, today we are 100 of us here, right? There are maybe 50, 100,000 people sitting in the villages who don't have the privilege to enjoy this session. They don't have the privilege to be a part of PDPU. They don't have the privilege to go to school, right? So don't be entitled that I deserve being here. Not necessary. There are hundreds and thousands who aren't lucky enough. So please be grateful. Please have that gratitude, humbleness. An entrepreneur always needs to be extremely humble, right? So don't be entitled, I deserve. Finally, it's your karma which is going to take you there. Don't be comfortable. The moment you are comfortable, your growth gets limited. Discomfort. Do things that you are not comfortable with. Don't be afraid. You feel that, okay, I'm very uncomfortable to, kind of ask these kind of questions. I'm very uncomfortable to, kind of go and meet 20 people and talk about myself, introduce myself. An entrepreneur has to be very uncomfortable. They do not know what's going to happen next. When you have to go and sell, when you have to go and present, when you go and have to pitch a startup, he would never know. He or she would never know what's going to happen, what questions are going to drop by like a bomb, right? So don't be comfortable. Discomfort is where you grow. More and more pressure on your brain, right? So don't live in your comfort zone. That is going to restrict your growth. So people say, what is entrepreneurship? Is it a skill or a mindset? Right? Is it a skill or a mindset? We need to understand. Right? So I think that's the similar question that Nachiket is asking. And do you think that entrepreneurship or entrepreneur is an attitude or a profession? Right? Profession is a subset of entrepreneurship. Profession can be anything, right? So that's what I said. It's a skill or a mindset. Skill is all about the profession, that I am a cricketer, or I am a teacher, or I am an artist, or I am a flute player, whatever. So that's the skill that I've derived from my education, from my practice levels. But do you have the entrepreneur mindset? That is what makes you an entrepreneur. That's what makes you successful, or that's what actually fails you. What happens if, overnight you are doing, what happens if, let's talk about our great Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, just to take an example, that he's an entrepreneur too, right? That what to choose, what to prioritize, what is important for me. One fine day, Mr. Modi wakes up and he sees that, okay, Pakistan is attacking from one side, Bangladesh is attacking from other. Today I have to do my Man Ki Baat speech, and then there is a big coup that's happening within my party, and there is Congress who is doing this dharna. There are so many n number of things, on his table when he goes to his office. We only see the good side of it. We don't see what are the challenges that he is facing. Now, what decision to take at that time? Oh, I need to select the chief minister of Gujarat. Whom do I select? Right? So there are 100 questions. So what is essential for you? That is very important for the entrepreneur. Now, is that a skill or is that a mindset? Right? It's a mindset. So Essentialism again is a great, very good book which I've recommended, which tells you things that what is not essential for me. Is it essential for me to be here in this webinar? Or is it essential for me to watch the final episode of Money Heist? What do I want to do? What is important for me now? Right? What is essential for me? Right? So I think essentialism is very, very important. Let's go to the next slide. So don't worry, I've got only 8 or 9 slides. So these are some very great movies. I've been very fond of movies. I get a lot of energy from there. I get a lot of ideas from there. I get a lot of inspiration from there. And I try to pick the best from whatever I see or whatever I read. So Joy, The Pursuit of Happiness, The Intern, these are some very, very good movies. But for startups, you must watch The Founder, right? He's the founder of McDonald's. And it's on Netflix, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. You can watch movies, guys, read books, meet people, and then try to get the best and try and implement, right? Steve Jobs. So there are two movies here, Jobs and Steve Jobs. They are two different movies. I feel that all of these movies we must watch. The Aviator is a great movie, which we should be kind of get inspired that what is grit all about? What is relentlessness all about? Same is with Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith. So I think these are some very great movies which will actually tell you that entrepreneurship is not found in books. It's not a definition, or it's not something we search on Google and we look into presentations. Okay, what is an entrepreneur? Mare entrepreneur banvu che, mare entrepreneur banvu che. It's not about something that is defined, right? It's about the characteristic that you build, the mindset that you build. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. And here are some phenomenal books which will help you, right? There are things that I may not have been able to cover. I am my way. So I am also the LMR guy, which is a last minute revision guy. So when there is an exam, I really want to go through the last few important critical points to cover the most points. So these are some very good books that have helped me. As I mentioned, great. The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Essentialism, Elon Musk, right? Read some very good autobiographies. The Ride of a Lifetime is about Robert Iger. He was the CEO of Disney, where he started, where he is. Richard Branson again, Peter Thiel, 0 to 1. Donald Trump is a great example of entrepreneurship. And The Art of Deal will show you that. If you see the documentary on Netflix on Donald Trump, you'll see that when he was going bankrupt, when he was very young, there's an interview that's in the media when he was asked that, what will you do when you fail and if you become bankrupt? So his answer was, I'll fight for the elections for the president of the United States, right? That interview is more than maybe 20 years, 30 years old. When he was very young, it's very much on the YouTube, and that's what he did. So he may be a very unpopular character with people, his ways, what he would kind of write, but then he is one successful guy for sure. Right? So these are some great books which would also help you become an entrepreneur. So that's all I had to say uh, as of now. Thank you so much. The last slide is again a very beautiful slide. It's just the tortoise, right? So feel free to ask any questions that you feel that you want me to cover. You can write or you can ask whatever way you feel. So 12 participants have dropped, so they did not have any questions. 83. I'm just counting the number. Can we see the screen, Samat? Or do we want to keep it this way? I can't hear you guys.
Yes, sir. I'm just sharing the screen
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I think you can just cross the screen straight in. So 75 participants now. Anybody? Any questions? Or you can write them here. So Nachiket, did you get the answer? Do you think that entrepreneurship is an attitude or a profession? Is Nachiket here? Cool. Anybody from the university you want to ask anything? See, everybody's so particular about time. I think they know that 12:29 થઈ ગયા, 1 મિનિટમાં પતી જશે એવું નથી. Okay. What are the challenges you have faced in your entrepreneurial journey? I think many, right? Uh, Not one. I have been a first generation entrepreneur. My father has been a banker. So I never had the capital. I could never dream that, okay, I wanted to do business. But somehow that's what I always wanted to do and get into any form of business. So challenges, yes. First and foremost, I have been a college dropout as well. I started studying after I was 40. So I did my post graduation from UC San Diego in pharmaceutical management. I did go to London Business School after I was 40, and I did my program in private equity. I did my diploma in agri entrepreneurship also, but I really did not study when I had to study. So, so that was my challenge at that point of time. I did not have a specialization. So, what field to choose? Whom to go? Whom to take the guidance from? We did not have mentors. We did not have incubation centers. We did not have people who would guide us. So it was a lone journey for sure. Yes, I was relentless. Whatever I mentioned here, I have gone through those experiences, and I think it's too short a time for me to actually explain. But challenges have been immense: self-confidence, grit, relentlessness. People don't believe in you. People raise questions on your integrity. People ask questions on your honesty, and unless and until you don't succeed, people kind of raise fingers at you કે આ ભાઈ તો કંઈ ના કરે સક્સેસફુલ થાવ તો કે અચ્છા આનામાં હતું તો ખરું જ. So the same people will actually change their definitions as and when you become successful. So I believe success and failure are very temporary. Don't deviate your mindset. Don't be differentiated by those. Just keep on doing what you want to do. Right? So I think these are the few challenges. But then miracles happen, right? Miracles do happen. I believe in miracles. You have to kind of constantly be conscious and look at them, have your gratitude to God, to whatever faith you believe in, and keep going. How to fund our startup, because the whole game of startup is to allocate funds for it. So how to do it efficiently. So it all starts. So this question is from Shubham. So Shubham, it all starts from what is the size of your startup? What is the kind of problem you are looking at to address? What is going to be the scale? What is going to be the stage? You need to white paper. You need to define a white paper. You need to write everything down as if you are doing a real business. First of all, you need to talk to the right people and kind of write the plan down on paper, that where are you today, what is the size of the team, what is the size that you are looking at, what is the market that you are looking at, uh, what are the resources that you need, right, and what are the mitigations. So when you write the plan, you write down that how can this plan fail, how is my business going to fail, write down the probabilities of failure, write down the probabilities and the risks involved. And if you have an answer to all those risks, and if you write it down on paper and how you're going to do it and how much time, you will get your answer of allocation of funds, right? So Vishal says, I was watching on YouTube and because of disturbance in connectivity, I could not understand about the slide of the ad men wanted for dangerous job. What is it about? Can you elaborate? What happened afterwards? So Vishal, type Ernest Shackleton in your Google window and search for that name. Ernest, Ernest space Shackleton. So it will talk everything about what happened then, why was that ad kept, and what happened afterwards. It's on Wikipedia also. So that'll help you. Uh, what entrepreneurial tricks have you discovered to keep you focused and productive in your day-to-day busy schedule is what Siddhant has mentioned. I think it's a very good question, Siddhant, very interesting question. So, if you read about Elon Musk, I think before he raised his fund, he only had a 3 day of salary to be paid. He did not have enough money. He did not know that Tesla will survive or not, or the company that he was working at that time would survive or not. He did not have enough money. So he bluffed. He bluffed at that time in front of his investors. But he knew that he could make it happen. He did not let them realize that he does not have enough money to survive the next 2 or 3 days. That could have devalued his company. So there was a bluff that he played. So entrepreneurial trick, again, there's no absolute answer to that. You need to be very quick. You need to be very forthgoing. You need to be very quick in decision making, that how are you kind of going to make it happen. So let me tell you a very interesting incident that happened with me. So I also produce films, by the way, right? So I produced a film called Yours Truly in 2018 sometime, and that we launched Mahesh Bhatt on the screen for the first time. So Mahesh Bhatt, Soni Razdan, Pankaj Tripathi, Ahana Kumra, they all were the lead cast for the film. And we finally sold the film to Z Premiere or Z5, which is kind of showcasing if you find Yours Truly. So it was a book by Eni Zaidi, and it was directed by a award-winning film director called Sanjay Nag, who made Memories in March with Rituparna Ghosh at that time. So the thing was that our film got selected for the Kolkata International Film, and Kolkata International Festival just gives one invite, and that invite is generally for the director. Now, I was the producer, so my ego was hurt, and I said, how come I don't have the invite and I really want to go and watch this film? I want to go to the premiere where Amitabh Bachchan was going to kind of cut the ribbon. Shah Rukh Khan was there, Wahida Rehman was there, actor from The Mentalist was there, and some great, filmy people were there, and I really wanted to see them. though I produced a film, but I never had the chance to watch Amitabh Bachchan. So I said, I really want to go there. This is the closest I can be. Now, how do I make it happen? Right? So that's the entrepreneur trick that I'm going to tell you about, what happened and how it happened. Uh, and then I decided that, okay, let me fly to Kolkata. Next day, the event was going to happen. I did not have the invite. And I called my director, Sanjay. I said, Sanjay, I really want to be there. Can you arrange for invite for me? He said, sir, we can't because we only have one pass. Sorry, I can't help you on this front. Okay. So I fly to Calcutta. I see the place where all the delegates are staying. They were staying in the biggest five-star hotel in Kolkata. I said, okay, let me spend money. Let me go to the five-star hotel and I'll try to figure out something there. So I go to the hotel in the evening. I go to the reception and I ask the lady that, could you help me with where are the delegates staying? I could kind of meet somebody and maybe ask him for ask him for a support and kind of guide me if they could take me, because I'm a film producer and my film is being premiered. So of course the hotel did not help on that. They have their restrictions on not disclosing about the guests or anything. So while I was filling up my guest form, I saw that the receptionist was not probably feeling well. So, and she was looked tired. And then we filled up the form and she said, okay, sir, let me show you a room. I said, no, I'm okay. I'll go to my room. You don't seem to be well. It's okay. I'll find my room. I'll go. So I took the keys. I went to my room. In 10 minutes, I received a call from the reception. On those 10-15 minutes, I was thinking, how would I actually find my place in this huge exhibition and this festival that's happening? How am I going to make it? So in 10 minutes, the lady calls me that, sir, I'm very sorry, I could not really attend you. We really can't, reveal where people stay and these delegates. But I can just tell you one thing, that on the same floor, the main sponsor is staying on the same floor. And right now he's sitting in the cafe downstairs. So that's all I can say. I can't help you anything further than that. Now, here is the trick that worked in a way. You know, I kind of felt that let me be very humble with the receptionist and maybe she'll help me with the information, which actually she did. And so I go downstairs and I see that I was told that the government of Tunisia was the sponsor of the event, and the ambassador, the consulate, was sitting in the cafe. So I go down in my shorts and my t-shirt, and I feel that, I know who he was, but he did not know who I was and why I was there, right? So I go in the cafe and say, sir, can I spend some time with you? We both are alone in the cafe. I don't drink. So I just had my thumbs up and my glass and I said, okay, can I spend some time with you? He was like, yeah, sure. He was very open. Now I exactly knew that he is the guy who can take me there. He is the main sponsor. So I sit down and I start talking about, what do you do, sir? I make films. I produced a film, and here is this event happening in Kolkata International Film Festival. It's so unfortunate that I don't have an, invite to the pass, because you just get one pass. This is what happens in India at times. And he was like, yeah, he was not still saying that, yeah, he's the main sponsor and the consulate general. Then he kindly kind of believed. Now, here is the second trick that came up. So the second trick was, I said, yeah, I'm a producer of film and I'm looking at international locations to shoot for my next film. And Tunisia really wants people to travel there and make films there. So Game of Thrones was made there. Harry Potter has been made there. So that's the country. And they want more and more people to come to the country and shoot. So I said, oh yeah, is that it? He said, so then he started saying that, okay, I'm the consulate general and we would love to have you and your team coming to Tunisia, visiting the place, and we can help you on that front. So we sat for about 45 minutes, and then he, of course, said that, okay, so I can help you tomorrow. And that's where the third trick came in. So he said, okay, where are you from? I said, I'm from the land of Gujarat. That's where PM Modi belongs. And he was a big fan of Modi. So Tunisia has been a partner country in a lot of vibrant Gujarat exhibitions. So when you are an entrepreneur, always remember that you need to know whom am I going to know? whom am I going to? You should know that what is the opposite person. You should have a lot of information about him or her. Then you would know what to crack. So I knew that government of Tunisia has been a sponsor of so many Gujarat events. So I'm sure he might be having a great connect with Modi somewhere. And if I talk about Gujarat, he's going to like it. And that happened. He said, wow, you are from Gujarat. You are my friend. Modi's state. And he was all gaga about Modi. They said, now you don't worry. I'm going to arrange the pass for you. And I also thought that, okay, this is my best shot. Let me keep on trying. So I said, but tomorrow the event is happening at 11 a.m. It's already 7:30 p.m. How can you? He said, don't worry about anything. I said, okay. He said, 10:30, let's meet in the lobby tomorrow morning. And I was like very excited. I go to my room and I sleep. Whole night I'm very anxious, a lot of anxiety. And would I be able to see Amitabh Bachchan? That is what all I wanted to do. So in the morning, 9:30, I'm in the lobby. He told me 10:30, 9:30, I'm in the lobby, wearing my blazer and everything, and I don't see anybody. And it's 10 o'clock and 10:15 and 10:20, and I start feeling that bhai to kahin na jata raha, and he might have actually forgotten. So I am just roaming around the lobby, and I asked that has the delegate left? He said, no, he's not yet. So 10:25, his secretary comes to me and says that, please sir, so I'm waiting in front of the gate. I wanted to make sure that main gate thi kya nikdi na jaye. So I was waiting in front of the gate to make sure that he doesn't leave without me somewhere. So he comes to me and said, sir, please follow me. So I followed him, and his car was waiting on the back side gate because he was a VIP. He was a consulate general of Tunisia. And you cannot imagine that I sat with him in the car with the red light, that music, toy, toy, toy happening, traffic police in front of me. I was sitting in the car with him in the back seat. He took me through the VIP gate. He takes me and makes me seated in the first row where all the foreign delegates are sitting. And I was like 10 feet away from Amitabh Bachchan. And I thought, wow, is this really happening? Yesterday evening, I really do not know that am I going to attend this place, and I'm sitting in the front row here. And is this really happening? And I was afraid. I said, no Indians are sitting here, sir. Everybody's a foreigner. He said, don't worry, you're sitting beside me. And then he tells everybody that he is coming from Gujarat, he's my guest, and he needs to be taken full care of. That's when I feel like, let me now call Sanjoy, the director of my film. Where is he? So I then pick up my call, a little bit of fun I just wanted to make. I call him and said, Sanjay, where are you? They said, Milap, I'm sitting in the pavilion in the top. He was like in the 50th or the 100th row somewhere. And then I said, okay, look beneath. I'm sitting in the first row, and I wave my hand to him. And he said, you good Jews, I really don't understand how you really made it over here. So these are the kind of entrepreneurial tricks. They keep on happening, but you need to be very sure about the goal, what you want to do, and the universe is going to conspire and help you. So I think it's 12:45. I've taken my time. The quick question again by Shubham was, you are very raw in terms of allocation of funds. As a time, there are very few to no incubation center or support from government for entrepreneurs. So how you did it all? So I have not yet done it all. I'm going to do it. I'm going to work very closely with PDPU. I work very closely with a lot of incubation centers. And I have this characteristic of identifying the talent. And I know how to make it happen. I enter into pre-seed and seed stages. Yes, very, very raw. I have a very different way of working because I've been built that way. I've grown up that way. And I've grown that way in terms of whatever experience that you say. I may not have a lot of money, but yes, I'm very rich in terms of experience. So I know how to make things happen. And that's what is probably the answer to you. So I think this is what I had to share. I think you're one of my experience. I have hundreds of such experiences, and you need a lot of time for that. So, but this was one of them. So
So
now
we
we are
have
59, 26 people already. Yes.
yeah, we have two questions on YouTube.
Sure.
So the first one is from Shaili Pujara. She asks, what can we do to convert an idea into a successful startup and eventually a business? And what challenges do startups in India face?
Right. So I
And
think
I think I'll
sure.
I think the second question is also related. It's from
Sure.
a startup in IIC. Agrisix Agri Technology. What can be our ideal goal when we are at early stage startup and to reach the next stage?
So I think nobody knows. So I'll take all this thing together. So I think first of all, startups in India are very lucky today because there are so many incubation centers, there are so many accelerators, there are so many mentors ready to support. And your university is doing a great job. Abhinav Bhai, Drashti, the whole team, Faizia. I've been in touch with them and I see that they take a lot of interest in doing things. So I think you guys are lucky. So connect with the right people. It's all about networking. It's about being fearless about asking questions. It's about attending more and more webinars, going outside your comfort zone, uh, fetching more and more information, seeing what your competitors in the same field are doing, learn from them, right, and then take it forward. So I guess it's an amalgamation of so many things. There's no absolute answer to going to which stage, starting at what stage. We all start at some or the other level, but the stage is what you write in your white paper. The stage is the milestone that you mention in your roadmap. You have to define that yourself, that the day I achieve this stage, I will go to the next stage. It's all about the contentment that you have. It's about the financial goals that you've achieved in the process. It's about the maybe the number of SKUs that you've kind of made. It may be in terms of number of sales that you've achieved. So what are the measurable goals? Is your stage or is your goal measurable? If you are going to measure that, execute that, monitor that, then and then you will know that, okay, this is my stage. It's like losing weight. Today I'm 80 kgs. Okay, 75 થશે ને ત્યાં સુધી તો મારે ચોકલેટ નથી ખાવી, ત્યાં સુધી મારે ખાવાનું નથી ખાવું, ત્યાં સુધી મારે બહાર નથી જવું. So when you come to 75, that's a first goal, right? You define that. Then you want to go to 70 kgs and you say, okay, I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to walk 10, 20 kilometers. I'm going to do intermittent fasting. So you define your goals individually. Nobody else defines for you. It's you yourself who design the stage, milestone, and the steps.
I think that's all. Thank you, sir. If there's any
jaldi batao આ ભાઈનું એવું
no,
નથી.
no, sir. So thank you sir for the amazing session. We hope to have more and more sessions with you, and if there are any other questions, we'll definitely reach out to you in some way. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks, Samarth, and send me the link of this recording if you have by mail.
Sure. We have a YouTube channel, so we will be we are live on that. So I'll send you the link for the YouTube channel and the video, the specific video.
Perfectly all right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks. Good day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.